Hello, welcome to Sterling Armory's. This is Sword Talk. It's our second episode in our Sword Talk. The first episode aired on St. Patty's Day, and it actually aired today. We're actually filming our second one today. So if you're not familiar with our Sword Talk, we have a lot of different experience with the group of folks that we have on Sterling Armory. So we talk everything swords, from stage combat to HEMA stuff to sharp cutting blades to blunts to movies to everything, video games, everything. So we have a topic for today, which you should be seeing when you click on this video, the main topic. But before we get to that, let's bring on some of our other Sterling Armory crew today. So let's see if I'm running the stream today, by the way, and it's my first time, so I'm horrible at this. So here we go. So let's start with some introductions. Last time we had Josh was with us last time, as was Thomas, but today we have a new one. So Colton, since you're the new one, we will start with you. So a quick intro.
Yeah, so I'm Colton. Honestly, I haven't been in this sword game on this level for very long. I've always loved swords. I always wanted to be making swords. I've made a ton for myself that are not great, and now I'm getting into all this more accurate, better weighted, better balanced. I'm learning all that stuff and super excited about it. So I'm a machinist and a welder by trade, and making swords was a hobby. Now it's getting a little more than a hobby, maybe. Don't know, yeah. But that's where I'm from.
Your Instagram is
Copperthorn.
Plug yourself. There you go. You gotta plug yourself.
I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, so Copperthorn Customs.
Copperthorn right? Customs Instagram. Yep.
So yeah, we'll have the link below. You guys can go check out, and we've been super lucky with Sterling Armory, where we have folks come in new, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm not really that good," and then they try something, and it's like awesome the first time. And Colton is definitely one of those people. So he's doing very good.
And confirm.
Yeah. Josh, you want to give a quick intro?
I'm Joshua Von Warbear, and I'm just a weirdo, just a weird, geeky nerd guy. Yeah. I love swords, knives, daggers, all that good stuff, always have, and got into it around, I don't know, it's been like a decade or so. I wanted to make a sword. I've been doing leather working and concept sketches and art for God knows how long. And then one day I just, like, the natural progression of things was like, I do leatherwork and armor, swords. Why aren't I making swords? And then hang out with Chris for a bit. And he taught me the ropes. And I'm sure I infuriated him every step of the way because I don't believe in measuring things or calipers. Yeah, math is an imaginary thing that I just don't subscribe to. And I just eyeballed the hell out of everything forever. And
what's funny is I
eventually just, you're right. I mean, you get a feel for it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's me.
Awesome. I'm Chris. I am again, I think all of us here are just super nerds who like to drink and make swords. But I am a sword maker / martial artist / aerospace engineer. And on that topic, we are filming, again, this is airing, I think, 2 weeks later, but on St. Patty's Day, which is today, we just had the big Artemis rollout for NASA. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I got my... wait, where is it? Here we go. So I've been working on Artemis since 2006, 7, 8-ish. I don't remember. It's been forever. So it's glad to finally see that roll out. If you haven't seen that, it's live on YouTube. Any of the NASA channels are also not live now because this will be dropping in the future. But you can go back and watch the YouTube video of that. Okay, enough of that. Back to Sword Talk. First thing we do before we get into the main topic is talk about our drinks. So, Josh, you want to go first? What are you drinking?
I don't.
Oh, yeah. Colton, you want to go first?
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so since it's St. Patty's Day and me being of strong Irish heritage really wanted to get me into some Guinness today. Fortunately, I ran around to 3 or 4 stores in Utah and couldn't find Guinness. So I will be drinking a very firm, very hard Mike's Lemonade.
Yep. Awesome. Colton.
Well, I did find a a Jameson Irish whiskey
Woo!
in honor of the holiday. So that's what I'll be having.
Awesome.
Just on the rocks.
Yeah.
So.
And
Nice.
then so last week I had the Norwegian was it Norway or Denmark? Sorry, the mead from Denmark. Apologies, Dansk. I still don't think I'm pronouncing that right. So I'm actually finishing that bottle right now because I only have a little bit left. And then I just knocked something over. And then on to my second bottle, which is their different type of. I think they have 4 different bottles, but I love most of them. This is the one with caraway and honey, so it's pretty good. So lots of mead. Even though it's St. Paddy's Day, the Irish had mead too. So yeah, happy St. Pat. Oh, and I'm drinking out of my NASA cup. What's funny about this is before Artemis was Artemis, it was called. I don't know if can you see that? It was called Aries, and that's the old version right there. So when I started on it, it was still called Aries. Now it's called Artemis. So okay.
Or you know.
Promise I'm done with that talk. Okay. So our main topic for today is we learned from last time because it went 2 hours last time. Instead of our top 5, we're only going to do our top 3. And this one was Josh's pick. So Josh, you want to say what the topic is for today?
The topic for this episode 2 is our favorite sword fights from film, or I guess any media rather, be it animated, be it live action or TV, be it movie, whatever have you. Our favorite sword fights that have inspired us and kept us burning. The kind that make you tear up and give you goosebumps when you watch them.
Yep. So we're going to go round robin style. Now, so these first few topics that we're doing are more geared towards the audience getting to know us. You guys getting to know us a little bit more. But yeah, so the first one was our top 5 swords that inspired us to get into the world of swords. This one is our top 3 sword fighting films. A lot of us are martial artists or stage combat folks, so we have a lot of experience with all this. So tell us below, what is your top 3 favorite sword fight scenes? And I'm actually excited to hear everyone's list. And we'll start with 3. We should talk about our third, and then we'll go down the list. And we have some honorable mentions at the end, too. Okay, first one up is Josh. That's yours, right?
That's me. Braun. Oh, man. How awesome was Braun in Game of Thrones? He was like my second favorite character. Braun versus Vardis. Oh, man. The fight was crazy. It was one of those, and I'm not a HEMA guy. I like to sword fight every so often. I've done mostly saber and rapier and Renaissance fair. Very minimum amount of stage combat, mostly just for fun and pokes, people getting to pay money to fight me. So I can't speak to the accuracy of all these fights and how that was such a good move because of the angle of attack. And, I'm not going to be able to do that, but I can tell you my personal thoughts and feelings on it. I love Braun versus Vardis because, in the show, the Game of Thrones is such a great show, or it was until the last few seasons. But the Braun versus Vardis fight, it was such a high stakes moment with Tyrion. And then it was, trial by combat, which, come on, it's like our favorite court system, right? Or judiciary process is trial by combat. So Braun goes to fight Vardis. Braun has this little, bastard sword or what have you. And the other guy is armed to the teeth with armor and a shield and a sword. And Braun just kind of dances around him and wears him out. And he gets so tired and he can't really do anything. And Braun just kind of fights a little dirty and wins. And that fight just made me gasp audibly. And I rewatched it 2 or 3 times the minute it hit YouTube. Just because, it just struck a hard chord in me and inspired me to do more sword stuff.
Yeah, Game of Thrones was, man, they had, this was one of the great ones. They had some really great one-on-ones, and then they had some ones that were
totally. And then the polar opposite of this one is, of course, the Jorah versus the one Dothraki, where the Dothraki fought him without armor, and Jorah was armored up, but he used his armor to advantage, and then ended the fight.
And I love that because a lot of movies, I think so I'm kind of the opposite of Josh. I have a lot of the martial art backgrounds, do a lot of the HEMA stuff, a lot of Chinese martial arts. And I think a lot of folks in the in the Hema world and the historical sword world, always complain in movies when they don't use armor as it's supposed to be. And
Sure.
Game of Thrones, when Jorah actually uses his armor, it's like, yay, the sword didn't just magically go through the armor.
Right.
So it was awesome. But yeah, same with this particular fight scene too. They used armor like crazy. It was good. Yeah. Colton, any thoughts on this? Actually, have you seen this?
Oh, I've seen it. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's fantastic.
I saw you plug your ears for the last.
Oh no, I'm just like, I don't want to talk about the last season or two.
Okay.
Yep.
We just forget those happen.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic fight. Obviously, one of the best characters. Just the ruggedness of everything, and he doesn't mind if he plays a little dirty because he comes out on top. It's fantastic, and you don't see that for like. I don't know if he's a good guy per se in the movie. He's not really like a bad, he's just kind of there. But
he's a self-sword.
He's not necessarily the villain that is fighting dirty, It's just like he's fighting to win. So very good scene.
Awesome.
Also, I'm a big fan of his sword. His sword has that weird like Norman look to it, but with, like the T pommel with the half round end cap. I thought that sword looks friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Did he have the same one the whole time?
I believe so.
He always I thought he changed after he met.
He had that sword, and I believe he had like a sax back dagger or a dirk of some kind.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
I thought Jamie. I don't know why I was thinking Jamie gave him another sword when he picked him up. I
feel like he might have, but I can't remember.
He gave Brienne of Tarth Oathbreaker.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, but I don't remember if he gave Jamie a new sword. Or sorry, I don't know if he gave Braun a new sword.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Yep.
All right.
Time for a rewatch, I guess.
Yeah. For season 1 to 4, right?
Yeah, sure.
Or 1 to 5.
I'll watch them all again.
Yeah, I'll probably watch them all. It's like Star Wars prequels. Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Alrighty. Colton, you ready?
I am. Yep.
So there we go. I was happy that one of these made it because this particular one actually I was thinking that a lot of folks would exclude the Renfree part of it and just pick the beginning part of it. But I think the Renfree part was the tip of the iceberg of that fight.
Yes. So I would say, like overall, I love this whole scene. It's kind of a long scene when you really start breaking it down, and you can put them into 2 separate parts. But he just like walks in, no scabbard, nothing, just carrying his sword on his back and just ready to go. And I just like love the brutality of his actions through this. He's just like, he's not messing around. He's just going through. And it doesn't seem like he's even trying that hard when he's fighting 5 guys, however many it is.
He starts getting annoyed at the one guy, right?
A little bit. Just kind of like, just get out of my way.
You can tell.
Through. And so I really love how the very first season, the first few episodes, it feels like they really stuck to the video game moves. It's like you can almost tell it'd be like, oh, I'm pushing X for this move, and then I push, like the way he kind of moves through the game, it feels like you're in the video game. And I'm big fan of all the video games, all the movies, and it's just an awesome scene. And so he moves through those guys rather quickly in pretty brutal ways.
He doesn't waste time at all.
No, it doesn't waste time. And then he comes up to Renfree, and it's just like he doesn't really want to fight her, doesn't really want to kill her, but he's going to if he has to. And so like it's a really fun dynamic where she seems to be coming at him a lot harder than he is at her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But in the end, like obviously he still wins. So I just love the energy of this fight. It's fast, it's clean. Obviously it's very fantasy, but just fantastic overall.
Yeah,
a
lot of
backward sword holding, and you're like, you're not. What are you doing? But
it's reverse grip.
And I would argue,
give it up to Todd for making the blades, and then their stunt team for making the stunt versions of those blades. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So,
with Geralt versus Renfree, like you were saying, like the first 5 guys he goes through, he's not wasting any time. He's wasting very little movement, making sure he efficiently takes out everyone as he sees that like multiple enemies equals a bigger percentage or chance of death for him. So he just goes through them. That first one he does, where he's reverse sword Geralt through most of the fight, I believe, but where he puts it in his mouth and then just goes straight up with it. Like, it made me go, ah, and then like want to watch it again, like right away.
Right.
But mostly like the sword fighting was great. Again, a lot of reverse grip, even though a lot of it's not super like accurate or whatever. My favorite part is like Henry Cavill in the scene. His like physicality and his actions, the way like everything about him was 100% down with that character and invested in that fight. And I think it was all a one through. I think they all filmed it as a complete like shot with no cuts, and they had to do it so many times. So Henry, if you're listening,
yeah, we all have man crushes on you.
Oh yeah,
not gonna lie.
Yeah, not even unhappy about it.
Yeah, he has a good behind the scenes of that fight scene, right?
Yeah,
I better go watch that. I haven't. So
yeah, are you guys familiar with the books and this story in the books?
Just the video games and the movie or the TV show, right?
This is a big part of the books.
Yeah,
not a big part, but you know.
I listened to the book audio. A few years back, and I'm not remembering it that well, but.
So yeah, they did the scene very much justice from the books, but what they didn't do is they didn't set up how much of a awful position Geralt was in, because in the books, the crowd, those guys that are about to fight him, they're not just there to fight Geralt. They're actually trying to kill everybody in the city to get the wizard out of the tower. And that's how they think they can do it. So Geralt has to make a choice, right? Like, all right, I can save the citizens of the city, or just let them run rampant and ignore it. And he chooses not to ignore it. And I was I don't want to say sad, but after I watched the episode, I was like, wait a minute, like. I guess the reason why they didn't is because at the end of the fight scene, right, all the citizens get mad at him for slaughtering all these people, and they probably wouldn't have been mad if they knew that he was actually saving them. So maybe that's why they did it that way.
Sure.
But yeah, they must have rehearsed that over and over and over. It looked so when I look at it, and you'll see from the fight scenes that I picked for my top 3, technicality and actors really diving 100%, 120% into their fight scenes. This one almost made my list because I every time I watch this too, I'm like, man, I really wish Renfree wouldn't have died, because that character was great. And I almost wish they would have put that actress in a different role so she can be recurring.
That'd be.
I'm looking at the crossguard here in the shot. And is that a seam where it's a foam weapon?
It is.
Yeah, I was like, does that weapon split in the middle? I don't notice a crossguard having that thick of a seam on it.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. That is
probably a prop.
That's probably the plastic hilt with a rubber blade.
Yeah, right. If you go through Geralt's is that same way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he fights through that one, or they fight with like I guess a foam and as well as a steel that's been cut off 6 inches up the blade, so he can swing it through people, and they just CGI the rest of the blade on there.
Yeah, he talks about that.
So you're telling me they're not actually cutting people in half?
I know. I was really upset when I found out too. I was like,
I'm not watching this anymore.
Yeah, why do I make sharp blades? All right. Okay, on to my number 3.
Oh, yeah.
Troy, Hector. I mean, this is one of those where it doesn't matter how many times I watch this movie, I'm still on the edge of my seat wanting Hector to win this fight. And every time he doesn't win, I just die inside. Like, no. And I mean, I know some of the choreography and stuff they did. I'm trying to remember the guy's name who did the choreography. He's a younger guy. But I think his background is similar to mine in Chinese martial arts, because you can see a lot of Chinese martial arts used here, especially for spear and shield. But who's to say that they didn't use that stuff, because there's only so many ways you can use a spear and a shield.
Sure. And
then when they break down the sword and shield stuff, you can see a lot of Chinese footwork, and a lot of just a lot of their movements were very kung fu like.
The jumping Superman, the Superman stabs.
Right.
Yeah.
With a bronze blade and the tip magically survived that.
Yeah.
But they were going balls to the walls in this fight scene. You can tell they were trying to kill each other, and
totally.
Yeah, it was just excellent. I would like to know. I haven't heard any of the actors' point of view on this sword fight. I would like to hear like their training regimen and how long they choreographed it for, and maybe that's out there. I just haven't seen it, but
yeah,
No idea.
fantastic.
For Hector versus Achilles, while I'm watching it, like the entire time, like you were saying, you're hoping Hector wins the fight. I'm the entire time thinking, I feel so bad for Hector having to fight pissed off Achilles. Because Brad Pitt as Achilles, he brings like almost like an effortless grace to Achilles' fighting. It's like his fighting style is as normal as my walking style. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's so rehearsed in it. He knows what he's doing. He's completely comfortable, completely at ease in every movement he has. And in this particular fight, he's fighting with purpose. He is very upset about his cousin's death. Was it his cousin or his nephew? Patrocles, I think. Nephew.
Yeah.
So he's very angry. So he's fighting with actual tenacity that you don't like get to see, him push through. Like he doesn't bring that intensity in any fight he goes through again. And I just know Hector is just like, while Brad Pitt knows he's going to kill, while Achilles knows he's going to kill him, Hector also knows he's going to kill him, and he's just trying to fight as best as he can, and then he trips on a fucking rock. It's like everything unfair about this scene.
Oh.
Right. What a great display though of choreography, right? Because there's clearly a difference between Achilles' style and Hector's. He's a brawler, and I do wish they would have. You do see Hector does get a hit on Achilles first, right? But he just hits his armor and it glances
chest,
off.
Yeah.
I do wish they would.
It's close.
I think it would have broke the movie's reality, but it would have been awesome if Hector actually had hit him somewhere without armor, and you just see like his blade break over it or something. Like and Hector and Achilles.
Sure.
That would have been awesome, but that probably wouldn't have worked with the way the rest of the movie, because the movie's a bit more, as realistic as it can get.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a good point. Awesome. Like, what happens when you're fighting a guy that's rumored to be like part god and vulnerable except for his heel, and you're fighting them, and your sword breaks on his chest, and you're like, God damn it! Like.
And they did show his mom, which is a god, and she predicted the future. So I'm pretty sure she was a god.
At that point, nobody knew about his heel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Just saying that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Are you saying there's an alternate version of this fight where Hector just grabs him at an ankle lock and starts stabbing them in the heel?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Achilles just dies right away.
Yeah. What a way to go.
I'd watch that cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. On to number 2. That was all of our 3s, right? Yeah. On to number 2.
Yeah.
So for everyone watching and down in the chat, what's your third favorite fight scene as we jump on to our number 2? Josh, this is yours. Mad Mardigan versus
Mad Mardigan versus everyone. Mad Mardigan has 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes to rig this entire troll-infested castle against an army coming against him, and pulls it off.
I would have never thought to add this one. That's just I knew. So Willow is a staple. I watch it every 6 months or so. Love the movie. Mad Mardigan is one of my favorite characters of all time. Val Kilmer just does such a great job as almost like Achilles. He's just a very confident sword. He knows he's the best, and that's how he carries himself. So the whole scene where he's running around behind barrels, he's got that big helm with a plume on it. He's running behind barrels and shooting, arrow bolts at people. He's catapulting bags of armor, nets full of armor at people. He just pulls everything off, and he's so quick, and he's just so confident with all of his hits. And then he sees the monster, and he's just and then jumps on it anyway. He's not. There's no fear when he sees a two-headed
mutant troll thing coming out of the
Awesome
moat.
looking thing.
He just looks at like, God damn it, and then jumps on that thing. And then immediately like pretty much kills it. Yeah, Mad Mortigan during the entire thing, he's hilarious. Even when like you watch it from the beginning and it's not, I don't say obvious, but on the edge of your mind where you're like, maybe this guy's not really a fighter. Like so far, you've just seen him in a cage. You've seen him dressed like a woman, running around. You've seen him selling a baby or stealing a baby or something like that, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden he's a brilliant sword fighter. And I just remember me watching that scene where he comes in and to the armory and sees all the swords lined up and all the shields and all the armor and just like kid in a candy store. And that's how I felt when I saw it. It was just like, oh my God. And then later on you get him versus, oh my God, the general, I forget his name now. The guy with the skull face, the armor. Yeah. It's gonna escape me until I Google it. But he fights him, and that was a really good sword fight as well. But Mad Mortigan versus everyone.
I think he's very much a Braun, right? So, and Braun are very similar. I mean, what a great and the armor, the look of everything was very cool. I'm kind of curious. That new show's coming out, right? The new Willow show.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Fingers crossed. That's awesome.
Is he going to be even covered in that show?
I doubt it.
Or is
it's
it
one of those things where I feel I'm trying to think of what I've read versus what I know or what I think. If memory serves true, I think it's something like later on, like in the village, it's set post Willow events. But if it's anything like most film these days, it's going to be young Mad Mortigan or the events that led up to, you know what I mean? Like the adventures of Mad Mortigan and Eric.
Or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Eric. I totally forgot about Eric. He's awesome.
Yeah, Eric, right. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, yeah.
So
God, what's that general's name?
I have to admit that I've seen this show once or twice. I'm really not that familiar with it, sadly. So I am going to go back. This.
Yeah, so Josh is going to have Colton over.
So movie party. Come over. We're going to watch Willow.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I will fly out for that one.
Okay.
Awesome. That would be great.
I'll Skype you.
Okay.
I'll Skype
you. Awesome. All right. Colton, you're number 2. Now, I have to say, I have not seen this one yet.
What?
Yeah, I haven't.
It's on HBO. HBO Max streaming right
which
now.
Which is why I haven't seen it yet.
Yep. There you go. Okay, so I forgot to preface, same as Warbear here, but probably even a lesser degree that I am into the actual martial arts and the world of all the technical know-how. I just look and see that looks really cool, and I love it. So that's what I'm picking things off of.
Is this?
And again, I think it comes. What?
I was gonna say, is this the movie that got a lot of hate for the half helmets?
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is.
The half helmets.
I think that's also why I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, just imagine the other half there,
right?
And then you're good.
They're only wearing it for like 5 minutes before he gets knocked off. So
awesome.
Not even that long.
I mean, those two actors are fantastic, so it's got to be pretty good. Right?
Oh, there you go. I mean, I was gonna lead with like the actors are fantastic. Fantastic. Honestly, Adam Driver has been putting out a lot of really I don't know about a lot of good stuff, but I've been very happy with him. And then Matt Damon's always great. So, again, fight scenes to me, I guess, kind of come down to like the brutality of it. Maybe after looking at my list, I'm just like, I guess that might be what it is, really. Just the intent in like the people's actions in them, because these guys are out to kill each other. Absolutely, they are mad. They are going for it. And so, I mean, it starts off on horses, lances. They're just going at it. They get knocked off. They switch to axe. They switch to sword. You get a lot of good stuff. I don't know. Do you want spoilers? You haven't watched it yet, so
yeah, that's kind of what I'm.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's the Battle of. I should know this.
It was the last duel ever held in France.
What the heck's the name of the big battle, though?
The battle at the beginning?
Yeah.
Something
like
that.
I forget what it was. Yeah, it's, there's a historical, the Battle of the blank is in my mind.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
no.
hard for it's hard
Guys
for
in the
me
audience,
to talk
please
about.
tell us what it is because my mind is blanking right now.
And I'm gonna put it out there. Like the movie itself.
It's not
is a
Agincourt,
little-
is it?
I don't know. I really don't. Like
Agincourt,
the
some
movie
people call it.
itself is fine. Like it's a little slow. Lots of perspective stuff happening there. You get a couple good fight scenes here and there. But this scene itself is fantastic. Just good hand-to-hand combat going
Wasn't
to town.
this Ridley Scott?
Yes, I
Yes.
believe it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who also
was Ridley
did
Scott,
Troy, right?
There you go. Haha.
Yes.
I wonder if that's the
So-
same choreographer. I'll have to look it up.
The 100 Years' War,
Yeah, which is
There you
ends
go.
with the
Battle of Agincourt.
Agincourt or Agincourt. I don't think I've ever pronounced that right. So
Well,
Yeah.
It's
and
so hard. It's hard for me to even talk about this as well because I don't want to give spoilers to Fields.
Mhm.
But just like adding what Colton said, the same thing. It's the intensity, the stakes
Well, yeah,
of these guys, and the stakes of what's happening to these guys. It's not even. I guess one of them, sure, but like the wife stakes are pretty high too, and she
Yeah.
doesn't have much more as than spectating this thing. But
Yeah.
like the intensity they fight at, the cheap shots they pull,
Mhm.
the weight that they hit each other with, and then the finale of the battle like made my girlfriend scream
Oh yeah.
because she's just like, oh my god, like it's something like they put at the end where you're like, oh wow, that's a rough way to go, bro.
It's a rough way to go.
So hard.
Yeah, I
I'm not
believe-
going to say anything more than that because I don't want
Yep.
to spoil it for Fields.
Okay.
it should
Yeah,
be.
yeah, we'll
Hopefully,
leave
it's
it there.
based on the historical account. I would think.
I
So,
Yeah.
I mean I don't know the historical account necessarily.
So yeah, that's why
I-
we all gotta pack up, take a trip to the UK, hit
Sure.
the museums with me.
We'll go pull out some scrolls and read it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then have another last duel.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, speaking of, it's funny that you said that about the wife because going back again, another Ridley Scott, going back to Troy that we talked about earlier. That was the other part I completely forgot about when Hector goes down, and the camera goes to his wife that just watched the whole thing. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
She's seen Brad Pitt. She's seen Brad Pitt's abs and muscles in the fight. She knows Hector doesn't stand a chance.
Right.
She's just like, well, great, there he goes,
Yeah.
waiting for Eric Bana to bite it.
Yeah. Alrighty, so to my number 2.
Yep.
All the number 2s. We haven't had a number 2.
Ah,
Oop.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Mhm.
This one, actually, this was when I first thought about it. This was top of my list automatically. So again, the way I'm ranking mine is so from my technical background and perspective. Again, I'm a Chinese martial artist myself, especially with Chinese swords. This was very flashy and very fun, but oh man, like my other way of judging fight scenes is what keeps me on the edge of my seat, and this one even today does. Although the more I watch it, the more you can see, like, yeah, there's clearly like they edited some parts that don't really work together.
Sure.
But the overall scene and how many blades that they went through doing this was awesome. And they did a lot of their own sword work, which was fantastic as actresses. And man, I mean, I'm pretty sure some of it was sped up, but there's a lot of it that was not sped up where they're flying with their blades. Granted, they're using all aluminum, which helps, but still, I mean, regardless of what you're using, they were flying while also keeping fantastic technique and not getting sloppy. And then the choreography, especially at the end when she picks up that two-handed blade, that's kind of my favorite part of this. It's very short, but the way they finish, like, either one of them could have ended that fight right then. And it was just incredible work. So I also I've done a lot of stage fights as well for different live shows in theater. And so another way I'm ranking some of these fights is fights that I've actually pulled choreography from. So if you guys are in the martial art world, especially the Chinese martial art world, there's in your tournaments you have your fighting, you have your forms, and then you have two-man forms or choreographed forms is another form of competition. And I used to do a lot of that And I definitely pulled some moves from this fight to compete in tournaments. So and I won with them. So thank you, Crouching Tiger. So
seeing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was like one of the first ones I saw in theaters. I've watched Legend of Drunken Master and Iron Monkey being a precursor to Legend of Drunken Master, and way back when I was obsessed with like Jet Li and Jackie Chan films, and Jet Li has a lot more swordplay because a lot of Jet Li's films are more period pieces, whereas Jackie Chan's much more modern and stunt heavy. So Jet Li Twin Warriors was one of his. It was one of my favorite in the middle fight between him and I'm escaping the name of his friend is escaping me right now. It's like the two friends that grew up as brothers kind of deal, and one has a good path, one has the military path, and they're fighting. And there comes a point in the sword fight where the camera pans against it, and you can see all the chipped up teeth in the sword, where they've just been abusing the hell out of it. And Asian cinema really like blew up my mind as far as what you were saying, like choreography goes, especially in sword fight. Now Michelle Yeoh is a seasoned veteran at Chinese sword, Chinese broadsword, Tai Chi sword, xians and all that good stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if she was flying at like full speed. I mean, in film, like you typically go half speed just to like keep it safe. And then some things are sped up or they just keep going the action, repeat, 50%, 60, 75, 80, 90, 100%, and just go at it for these two hits kind of deal. So it wouldn't surprise me if she was going full tilt boogie, because she is capable of some crazy speed. Also looking forward to seeing her new movie coming out, which is everything all at once, everything everywhere all at once. That looks really awesome.
Isn't she also in The Witcher?
Season 2?
Origins? No, the origin story for Witcher.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think she is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's in the Witcher Origins movie or show coming out.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. She is. I'd forgotten that they even released news about that.
I know. So exciting. Yeah. Hopefully more good blades come out. But yeah, I mean, I could watch this fight scene over and over. In fact, I did when it first came out, just over and over and over and over again. So I love fight scenes that teach me new moves. I've been a martial arts since I was 10, I think, and so seeing new moves is like, oh my god, it's really cool. In fact, she used the single broadsword that broke into twin broadswords, and then the hook swords. What's happening over there?
What?
It's room temperature.
There you go.
Something better than Mike, so we got Guinness.
Another.
So can we say thank you, Tari? Tell her we're live. We're saying, oh, jeez, that's awesome. You got to go through all of it.
Sure can.
The guys say thank you, Tari, and I guess Tari is going to be making Irish car bombs while I'm broadcasting here.
Okay. Well, Josh, I think we're back to you, right?
Maybe.
Yep.
Oh,
so we're on the number ones now.
I get excited. Maybe we should have picked 5, man. It seems like we're going through it pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Well, we also have the honorable mentions as well.
Fair point. So Nanashi versus Liu Lang. Oh my god! And I'm a huge anime nerd, and I go apeshit for any kind of animated anything that comes out. So forever ago it was Ninja Scroll. Ninja Scroll was like the adult, mature martial arts anime manga feature. And it was ninjas and swords and fighting and all this crazy stuff, and it was awesome. And then Sword of the Stranger, which is the title that this fight is from. Sword of the Stranger came out and replaced it as like my new favorite thing. It's not as dark by any means. It's not as supernatural. It's not as anything. And the synopsis is about a nameless samurai or nameless Ronin, which is Nanashi, which means no name, and wanders through Edo period Japan, while Liu Lang, who I believe is German or Russian, and he's fighting for Chinese mercenaries that come to Japan to kidnap a boy in the name of the emperor. And that's the kind of the whole explanation of the entire thing. But the whole episode, it's like an hour and a half or hour and 40 minutes, something like that. But the whole thing is peppered with these like really, really hardcore, well done, well choreographed sword fights. that are both Chinese in origin, Japanese in origin. Liu Lang throws a little bit of like hard Western stuff in there, or hard, dramatic like fight barbarism fighting. There's archery, there's spear, there's lots for the whole family. Awesome. And by the end of the movie, there's several like little fights that happened or instances. In the entire movie, he doesn't draw his sword because he's made a promise, so the sword is tied together. But by the end of the movie, he's like tearing at that little peace tie to try and get his sword out to fight. And this particular fight between him is, mind blowing. It's the kind, like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about. I've watched it like the minute I came, you were like, "What's the next topic?" And I picked this one. I was like, "Oh, I already know my number one." It's Sword of the Stranger, and it's just so many things in here that make you like. They push you, they pique your emotions, and they give you that weird feeling to where you start tearing up a little bit and getting goosebumps, and just like get out of your seat and start like putting your fist up, ready to go. And yeah, this is just great choreograph. There is so many crazy things that happen in the fight that make you like double take.
15 minutes.
So sadly,
They said hi.
Hi guys.
hello.
Today, expect a high of 49 degrees Fahrenheit.
49. Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
not
Yeah,
bad.
that's
I was
Alexa.
thinking, I
Thank you.
thought it was feeling great.
Yeah.
I no coats anymore. 49's
I couldn't
more.
find anything for that.
I'm just not gonna say that name or use that robot while I'm doing this from now on. I think that's
Have you
So
seen this, Colton? I haven't seen this.
No, I haven't seen this, so I can't comment much.
Guys,
That's cool.
come on.
Yeah.
is
Sparks
homework.
and blades and stuff.
It is. So,
You've
actually,
had
when I saw that,
24
I actually
hours.
looked it up. Yeah.
So
I
the
saw
fight
that
is
on
like
your
6 minutes long. You can find the fight on YouTube.
So, are you saying I
Can
should
you?
just
Okay.
YouTube it right now and watch it live?
If you want to watch the fight, I implore you to watch the fight. But the moments to the lead up of the fight are just as badass as the fight itself.
All right.
That's important.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll watch that one together too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
on
yeah.
this.
Oh, we're doing Willow. We're doing Sword of the Stranger.
Uh-oh.
And it's hard picking a number
weekend of
one.
sword
I say it's hard picking number one. I know what this made me feel watching this. I know what
Sure.
it made me feel. But then, when we're taking the homework assignment, we're looking like the best sword fights of all time. And you're like, oh, hell, that's right. That sword fight exists. Oh, that's a really good sword fight,
Yeah, I had to.
And then you
go
just end
back
up in a
and-
rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Yeah, I changed my list many times.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like we need a whole weekend of just sword movies and drinks,
I
Now you're
guess
talking.
we just
and we
Yeah.
just stream it. Yeah.
You're flying
live
out. You
stream
gotta
us
fly
just
out.
watching
Yeah.
15 hours of sword fights, and it'll be
So
fantastic.
you fly out. Colton comes over. We set up the camera for it's all of us on the couch, and then we
Right,
just
yeah.
stream everything from there.
Sounds good.
Oh
right, cool.
yes.
So it looks like we've switched over to me here.
Yep. On to you.
Okay, so sadly, there wasn't a great photo of this scene. I couldn't really
From the
find
movie?
anything, and not necessarily from the movie. And so I
Except for him
honestly
with arrows
attempted
in them.
Yeah, I attempted a couple screenshots and it wasn't great. So I was like, honestly, this is an epic photo or
It is, yeah.
painting of it. So we're going with this.
Yeah, looks good.
I don't know why the picture you didn't choose wasn't Boromir full of arrows.
That's what I was thinking.
And what you
it
should have
hurts
done.
my soul too much.
I know. So here's what we do. Next time when this happens, you send it to me, and I push more arrows in them. So it's just like 15 arrows.
You dirty
Yeah,
man. That's
porcupine.
not okay. That's not okay. Okay, so this
We're
fight,
including Aragorn's part here too, right?
I did include Aragorn's because obviously, that's a really good one-on-one sword fight. So,
Yeah.
Awesome.
We talked
We
about
get
that
it.
a little last week.
oh, awesome! I only made it about halfway through to the podcast that was released today. So I tried.
There's a lot more.
I didn't
It's
make
very
it through
long.
it.
And
There's
sorry,
a whole
audience,
lot
for
more.
having a 2-hour one.
Yep. I was like, anyways, so, just fantastic. Boromir running in to save the day. Out of the blue. I mean, obviously, he's there. The little hobbits, they're having a hard time. Here's Boromir. And I just always think, if all the men of Gondor fight like Boromir, then the battle is gonna be okay. You know, like you're just like this
Right,
guy
yeah.
is just taking down like 50 of these Urukais on his own. And like I wish you could get more of it in the movie, because like it cuts back to Legolas, it cuts back to Aragorn, it cuts back to Boromir, and I'm like, but the Boromir part is my favorite.
Yeah.
I love his sword, I love his shield, his whole outfit is just fantastic. His kind of light armor but chainmail. Like Boromir is one of my favorite characters. And then you go to the book and I love him even more. He's and so it's just kind of that epic. The hero comes to save the day. He's fighting the hordes of bad guys, doing the best he can, but he's just not gonna make it. And you know he's not gonna make it.
Right.
And so I don't know, I just love the whole scene itself. It hits you in the feels every time. And so you get some awesome sword fight with Boromir, and then obviously cheap shot arrows come out. You know, what's he gonna do? So fantastic, he gets taken out, and then again you get the last second hero save of the day. Aragorn jumps out of nowhere, and then you transition right into another fantastic sword fight. Doesn't last that long, but it's just like big old Urukai versus Aragorn, another fantastic sword fight, ending in decapitation. So it's like, what's not to love?
Colton, Colton, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Aragorn swacks the dagger out of the air. That was real. That was 100% real.
It was real. It was real.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That's what we were talking about last time.
We were talking about that last time.
But yeah, Boromir's sword is one that I've been wanting to. That's on my list to make, and I
would love one. So if you cut out a blade for it, I'll make one with you.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably use our wide 18C blank as a base for it, but it's just heavily fullered, right? So that's what I was in the past when I didn't have the smaller grind wheels. I was a little nervous doing fullers like that. Now I think now we can do it pretty easy.
Oh, I would.
I think that's Jamie Adam Savage's favorite sword as well. Boromir's sword is his favorite.
Oh, is it really?
Well, I mean, why not? It's amazing.
Peter Lyon, I think, gave him a Boromir sword.
Did he really?
Forever ago. Yeah.
I would like to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit him up. See if he'll send me one.
Yeah, that was it was an awesome scene, and the way they did slow-mo in that scene too was tough.
Yeah. I was scared of the arrows. The arrows were like half 3/4 inch round. It was like a ballista. It was like a mini ballista. Then seeing the tips, the jagged, nasty black tar like tips. Who knows what they were dipped in orc shit or something like that. Like just feeling those hit you and go through you. It's going to be like getting hit with a spear.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Lurs was a crazy looking orc. You could tell he was just like tiers above the rest. Where the other ones, like you were said, just kind of like, we're gonna run at this guy and fall down now. I guess they weren't particularly as dangerous against those.
I wonder if anyone's done a body count of how many Boromir got through.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not that I know of.
It sounds like during the weekend you fly out and we watch these movies. We should do a count.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
And every time he gets a kill, we take a shot. Okay, we're going down.
We're dead. Yeah, we're dead. So dead.
Irish car bomb. Right? Yeah.
We're gonna enter the Wraith world. Nice.
Yes.
So yeah, I did have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as my number one until I remembered this one. I also had another one on here at number one, but it ended up getting backed all the way off. But it is in our. So we do have a couple after this that are what's the word for it? I've had too much to drink.
Honorable
mentions. There you go.
Runner-ups.
But yeah, so again, when I'm thinking of what keeps me on the edge of my seat, what choreography is absolutely fantastic, and Gladiator is I'm surprised Gladiator didn't come up in our favorite swords last week. The Maximus, especially the one he starts with at the beginning of the movie.
The Spada.
Yeah, I've remade that one once, and it was awesome.
But
it didn't make my list. I think it made one of our other person's lists that wasn't on last week. Colton, that's not on your list, is it?
It's not on my list. It's an awesome sword, but
I think it was Brandon.
Chet or Brandon.
Yeah.
It could be Chet or Brandon.
But when we got to this scene, two undefeated gladiators. I mean, this is another one where you can tell that they just went in all out, and they're just like, all right, well, if we hit each other, we hit each other. Go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
and from the moment the sand gets kicked up, I mean, what a fight scene.
Totally.
I'm surprised. The downside of this fight scene, if there's any downside, is that it should have been the ending fight scene because this kind of overshadows the end of the movie because this part was so good. And I loved his armor. The costume design in this was just fantastic. And so my when I did a lot of choreography stuff and also when I got into HEMA stuff, my preference is actually sword and shield. And it's and actually in the Chinese martial arts as well, I also do Dao and shield. So when this came out, when did this come out? Late 90s, I think it was, maybe early 2000s. I don't remember.
I think early 2000s. Not sure.
Early
There wasn't
2000,
any-
2001 maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I don't recall many on-screen fight scenes that were sword and shield versus something different as a one-on-one type thing. Normally, when you see sword and shield, it's in like a mass battle and not just a one-on-one thing. So that's why this one really stood out to me, and the way they use. I mean, he used the shield not just for defense, but he was using the edge to smash the guy with him. I think he broke his jaw with it, right? At one point,
Deck his faceplate,
deck his faceplate into his own face,
right,
which was cool. Yeah, just such a great scene, and in fact, I might watch that after when we're done here because
same,
it was awesome fight scene, awesome movie too.
Just need to go watch all of these fight scenes.
Yeah,
after talking about them, I'm super
Agreed.
excited about some of these I haven't seen.
We should have put links. We should have put links to the fight scenes on YouTube in the description.
We can. We haven't.
Yeah.
We
Done.
can. I can do it. Yeah. And you know what else I just remembered? The axe to the foot. Oh.
Yeah, right. It goes axe to the foot and immediately cuts the blood coming out of his faceplate mouth.
Right, because when he got smashed by the shield, right? Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
He was haggard.
I mean, and you think Maximus is gone? Like he was like, "There's no way he's getting out of this." Oh, axe to the foot. That'll do it.
Right.
So,
isn't this the same fight where he has to fight like 3 tigers too?
Yeah. One of the tigers takes a sword because he stabs the tiger with it, and then the tiger rolls over and takes a sword, and he's swordless.
Like, I'm no coward. I'll fight any man. Whether I lose, win, doesn't matter. But the minute you throw tigers out of a pit at me, I'm done. I'm like, well,
you're just like,
okay. Not cool, guys.
I mean, this fight is totally, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a year or two, but this fight is totally in favor of Tigers, correct? Because it's like, Tigers in favor of him. And
as well as the crowd favorite.
Yeah, the crowd favorite. The Tigers are on his side. Yeah. And yet he still comes out on top. They essentially sent him to his death, is what they were planning here, right? But
they just made a hero of him.
Yeah, they made a hero. It's amazing.
I don't know if you guys know this as far as movie trivia goes, but Russell Crowe actually killed 2 of the 3 tigers before they tried to yell cut to make him stop.
God damn it, Russell Crowe.
He's just running around.
Yeah.
That's not actual trivia, guys. Don't do
it. Okay. So to play Trivia Pursue, don't say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case.
Just to let you guys know, I'm going to make up my own trivia as we go for everything.
And then we're gonna have a Josh trivia night, which is gonna be
Josh trivia night where there's no winning.
Yeah, alrighty. So that was our top 3. So you guys watching, show us your top 3, and I'm guessing that there's probably people watching who are like, "Wait a minute, why didn't they mention this one or this one or that one?" So we do have some honorable mentions that we're gonna walk through, and they're probably the ones that I'm thinking that people are like, "Why haven't they said this yet?" So on to honorable mentions. First one, back to Game of Thrones. Josh, I believe this one was also yours.
The Battle of the Tower of Joy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This scene has been made famous, not even so much because of what happens, but because someone dubbed lightsabers over the top of it, made it even cooler.
Did they really?
It's on YouTube.
I didn't think about that.
Link in the description. But yeah, this was Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven going back and finding spots throughout Game of Thrones history that are of significance to us. And then Sir Arthur, I think it's Arthur, is it? I forget the knight's name right here. But he's like the most talented sword fighter in the land, and he just lays waste to like 5 or 6 opponents at the same time. He's got his friend at his back, but his friend gets killed with a sword to the throat, I believe, pretty early on by Ned Stark. And then Ned Stark and 4 other guys fight this guy, and the guy just like one by one picks them off and destroys them. And he gets taken out the worst way possible by just a guy that was accidentally alive stabbing him in the back of the throat. The back of the neck coming out the front of his throat. And that's the only reason he won. Otherwise, Ned Stark would have been destroyed and that guy would have killed everyone. But it was really hard for me to go between this one as well as the Braun fight, because those are 2 of my favorite fights in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I like the Braun one a bit better. But yeah.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Very good,
next
though.
honorable mention, I believe, is also Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was my favorite fight of Game of Thrones. Mainly because
look at that
if you know
giant Irish ring pommel.
Oh my gosh, that sword.
So beautiful.
I want that sword, but I don't think I have a wall big enough.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder how big. We'll have to look up how big that one is.
It's big.
It's got to be a beast. But a lot of Irish ring hilts are big. So.
Yeah,
totally.
Well, like, there's photos from like the cast with like other characters standing next to it, and it's like as tall as the other characters. I mean, like, if you look at the Viper next to that sword, it's like it's almost as big as he is. Like, it's just fantastic. Oh,
Alexa, stop.
Alexa likes this one too, I think.
So, I believe this was my honorable mention. And
I put it on there too.
Okay, you too? Awesome. It's like it's up there with this just fantastic fight scene. And like I wanted to put it on my top 3, but it's just like there's a lot, like the spear is dominating more or less through this whole thing, and I'm like, I don't know if it's like my best sword. It counts. There's a sword in the fight. But the sword is kind of getting wrecked, so it's like I don't know.
Spear counts too. We
spear counts. Okay.
Yeah,
because like
and that spear itself is really awesome.
Oh, that spear is just a sword on the end of a stick.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
it's more of a partisan. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this whole scene, and again, I don't know if it's just like saying something about me, but the brutality of the fight brings out like a lot more of the just like whoa, shock and awe of the whole scene together. Just the way this one ends. Spoilers, Chris, I'm assuming you've seen it. I know you have.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
I'm just kidding. Just like the end of it, how it's just like he's totally beating him. He's on the ground. He's dying.
Right.
Just step back a foot.
Just
just leave him alone.
Stab him and then gloat.
Stab him and then gloat. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you got a long spear. Stand back and just stab him in each eye. Right.
Oof.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like it shouldn't have happened, but it happened due to like the confidence of him, I guess. I don't know exactly, but it's just like
rage and arrogance. Rage and arrogance blinded him, and he got too close, and that was the unfortunate end. And this scene, the ending, caused like the scream heard round the world.
Oh my gosh!
It was airing on HBO when he punched him, and you could hear like they did the thing where the mountain grabs him and hits him once. And you could hear his teeth being scattered across the concrete. And it was just made you go, oh. And then he rolls on top of him and does like this. And you see Oberon screams. He does that like really painful scream before he dies. They're like, ah! And it's
is
like,
that what you're going with?
that's it sounds a lot like the Star Wars, like Ben Kenobi when he does the Crate Dragon yell, the woo, in the Blu-ray edition, obviously. But like no matter how hard you are, it's a band of bikers and like ex-mercenaries just sitting in a room watching this. When Martell screams like that, they all go, "He's had enough. Leave him alone," you know. And then he just explodes like a watermelon.
Yeah, and then a Mando helmet from then on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if he had his Mando helmet on, he would have been okay. So
he would have been fine. I don't know. The mountain looks like you might be able to crush Brescar. The mountain is a scary bastard.
So the reason I like this one is
he's a bad dude.
Yeah. So that I love this one because all of Oberon's stuff is Chinese martial arts. So I saw that and I was like, oh, Awesome. That's a good way to bring it
Fantastic.
in. So, in fact, he does. I believe he does the Achilles jump at one point.
Yeah, the
I
Superman
think
spear stab.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. On to, I don't know how many of these we have, so let's go through them a little bit.
Not enough.
Oh, this is mine. So there's actually two different fights here. So Highlander, as we talked about in Sword Talk episode 1, Highlander was a huge inspiration for me growing up. Watched it a lot. So many fight scenes. So what a blessing Highlander was, because it gave us so much. And a lot of those fight scenes were very good. Now, I would have loved to have been Adrian Paul to be able to say, "Oh, I'm just sword fighting this weekend. I'm doing it again and again and again," because he got really good. So the main one here, I don't know if you can't see my mouse, I don't think, but the main one in the center is the first time Duncan MacLeod fights a guy named Callus. But I was trying to find an image because it's actually a small part of the intro after this fight airs, where they're on like I think they're back in the 20s or 30s, and the guy he's fighting is an opera singer, and they're in like an opera theater, so all the wood is like perfectly smooth, and when they're sword fighting, they're on a super slippery surface. So they're sword fighting while like running around, and they can't stop, because every time they stop, they slide. And the way they did the choreography just looks phenomenal, and the fact that they didn't kill each other on accident because they were sliding all over the place is a testament to how good the choreography was. Now, my main fight though in Highlander that I think, and it's a very short fight, but it's one of those fights where it's so brutal, and you know that these actors they've trained so much that they just kind of threw safety out the window and they went for it. And that's I couldn't find an image of it though that you can. So I'll try to link it below if I can. But that is when Duncan turns evil and he fights Richie, and he almost kills Richie. When they're fighting, I don't know how many blades they broke during that fight scene, because they were literally. So Adrian actually mentioned that during the filming of that, like that whole time when they were filming, it kind of worked because him and Stan were not the best of friends at that time. Something was going on between them. So they were already mad at each other already. And then they went into this fight saying, I'm going to show you up. So they both were trying to actually show each other up. And they were flying through this fight. And the real telling piece to this is at the very end when Duncan knocks the blade out of Richie's hand. That blade almost bounces off the floor because he hits it so hard, and almost comes back and hits Richie in the face. And they kept it in the shot. But when he does it, you're like, holy shit, that's real. Like, they were going after each other in this fight. And when I asked Adrian about it, he said, yeah, they were going at it pretty hard. So what a great scene. That's also the scene where the fight choreographer was like, we can't, this Richie's rapier is breaking all the time. We've got to get him a new weapon.
Right.
But yeah, that was a great, but Highlander had so many great fight scenes. But those were my two that stood out. Okay.
I would like to throw in a quick honorable mention.
Yeah.
Because
we're not done yet, by the way.
Yep. This is a Highlander as well. I don't have a picture of it, but my favorite Boston was the fight at Boston Commons.
Did you just pull your phone out and hold it up to the screen?
I love that from the first movie. Yeah, when he's so drunk you can't see.
Yeah, the picture I wanted to show you was where he goes, Christ, I've gone blind, and his wig is just like in his head, and he's walking around. That sword fight I've forgotten until I looked at yours, and I was like, oh my God, the fight of Boston Commons between Bassett.
I wish I could have been there to see that while they're filming.
He kills him all day. He murders him from early morning to late that night, and then goes, hey, stop, man, I'm sorry I called your wife a bloated warthog. And then laughs, and then I bid you a good day, and then leave.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that's probably the best part of that whole movie. Yeah,
same. Yeah, agreed. Totally agreed. Robin Hood. Yeah.
Oh, on this. So yeah, we could. I'm sure the audience was yelling about this one. Cannot go through a sword fighting talk without talking about Errol Flynn.
Sure.
And obviously, Robin Hood. That was. You want to talk about two people, like I mentioned with Adrian Paul and Stan Kurse doing Duncan and Richie. I mean, these guys, these are actual fencers. So
right.
Yeah. The only reason this doesn't make my list and is because it's so clear that they're using aluminum weapons. Like it's beyond clear. They look weightless. So that's the only reason it doesn't make my list. But even still, you kind of wonder, like, I think a lot of this fight was not choreographed. They just went at each other. Because it doesn't look like it was choreographed. It looks like they were just fencing. They're like, okay, go. So, but this is a classic fight scene that established so many fight scene. What's the word for it? I forgot the word for it. But it established so many things to do in fight scenes for every other sword fight after this. I think this filmed in the 30s, right? 37?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and
it's interesting you mentioned that tactic where they just kind of like went at it. Like they didn't have any like hardcore choreography. They just kind of were like, okay, you guys are comfortable enough with what you're doing. You just go ahead and go at it. We'll film and then see. They used the exact same thing for John Wick 2, where they threw Keanu Reeves a gun and said, just go for it. And then people were just dying left and right. It was just like stunt guys full of holes as long, I'm sure they were blanks, but that's no less scary.
That's neither here nor there.
I'm trying to drink and I almost coughed up some mead.
That's just Warbear's surprise trivia moment.
You're right, yeah. So if you go back and watch this fight, by the way, you can tell when they changed from just fencing to choreography because their movements look a lot more precise and planned out. Like especially towards the end when he does the death kill, like it's like you guys are going so quick, and then all of a sudden you slowed a little bit, and we're a bit more accurate to do that specific move. So it's pretty neat to see. And then I'm sure the next one here is going to be another one that everyone's like, what the heck? Like, why haven't you mentioned this one yet?
Of course. Yeah.
So we all made an agreement when we did the list that it was our favorite fight scenes, except for Princess Bride, because that would have been on everyone's list.
It would have been everybody's number one.
But yeah, it is. It's actually not. It used to be my number one a long time ago. It's not. It had probably maybe my top 5. But yeah, what a great fight scene, right? I mean, the whole movie. And now we have Stardust as well, which is if you haven't seen Stardust yet, it's not as good as, well, I can't say it's not as good. It's not as nostalgic yet as Princess Bride is, but I'm guessing it will be because it's on that same level. It's really good. So I think that's is that everything? Or did I miss one? I might have missed one. Nope, that's everything.
That's everything.
So oh, see, I'm running the chat. Oh, now I can't even get. Oh, what's going on?
What's happening?
There we go. This is what happened when I run the thingy. I can't even think. I had too much to drink.
The thingy. Yep. When you run
streams,
the thingy.
there you go. I'm running the stream, so it's all over the place. But yeah, thanks for joining us. So again, we're going to be doing these sword talks. Hopefully, again, make sure please join the conversation. If you have your top 3 fights or top 4, top 5, post them below. And we'll be doing these sword talks again every other weekish or so. And please give us topics if you want to talk about, anything from like, what's the current trends in HEMA, what gloves and jackets you're wearing, or what's your favorite oak shot topology, or what's your favorite fantasy sword, what's your favorite video game? I mean, anything. The whole point of Sword Talk is to cover everything sword related. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Hope you're enjoying these talks. We tried to keep it less than 2 hours, so we're down to 1 hour 10, which is I think a lot better than 2 hours. So yeah, so if we're closing out real quick, let's just recap where to find everybody. So Colton, go ahead and go first, so we can find you at Copperthorn.
Yeah, so
Customs.
Copperthorn Customs on Instagram. Should be the same on Facebook, but I don't post as much on there.
Okay.
And then also on TikTok. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not on TikTok. I have to. I'm.
TikTok is a crazy place. Just so you know, it's a crazy place.
Yeah.
You youngins and your TikToker and
you youngins.
That'll.
And your Twibbers, your Twibbers.
Yeah.
Yep. Twibbers.
Make sure to send all those links, so I can include them below. And then Josh.
You can find me on Facebook at Joshua Von Warbear or on Instagram at Dark Archer Design with underscores between.
Yep.
If you just Google Joshua Von Warbear, you'll find whatever the hell's on there.
Yeah.
Some stuff might not be appropriate and be hidden behind a paywall. I don't recommend you do that just yet in this stage in our relationship, though.
We just got Warbear down here with the Google me, bro. Google me, bro.
Also, the links below, except for the inappropriate stuff. And then check out our prior one, because I think I only have your Instagram link. So if you want the Facebook link there too, let me know.
Sure.
And then all of us can be found at Sterling Armory. So facebook.com/Sterling Armory. I believe that link is at the beginning of our video at the bottom, I think. I hope. If I did it right, it's there. I'm running the stream, so I should know that. And then Instagram as well, Sterling Armory on Instagram. And then obviously if you're here, then you know our YouTube page. So yeah. Any other closing thoughts, guys?
If you guys want, reach out to us, engage us, conversate with us, ask us questions, give us compliments, give us comments, give us criticisms or what have you. We'll make videos. We'll post our responses either in text form or in video form, depending on what we do.
Yep. And,
Chris, you were saying?
I was going to say like and subscribe, because I would always forget to say that.
Which is like the obvious thing. You like and subscribe. Click the bell in the corner. I don't
really like saying that. It just feels like, I don't know.
I know it's very disingenuous. It really is.
Yeah,
it's a joke. It feels like a joke when I say it, and it totally is.
Yeah. Oh, and so we'll be signing off here. So I forgot to ask Josh. Do you have a closing remark for this one?
I covered the episode 1. You didn't prep me with part 2.
I didn't. I totally forgot
I did last week.
But I think that could be a running closing remark.
Yeah.
Though, I think, right? The same one.
What are we doing? Closing remark?
Yeah, it's like a piece of saintly advice that you would give someone. Like, for instance, last episode's was keep your peens clean.
Yeah. For all you sword makers out there and knife makers who peen the ends of your tanks.
Yeah.
and
I'll
t-shirts
keep a peen clean.
Yeah. I got nothing.
I got nothing either. Sorry, audience.
If you're in Utah and you're celebrating a very drinky holiday, do your shopping before the holiday, because it's just smarter that way.
Yeah, and then keep your peen clean. Yeah,
keep your peen clean.
Peen clean. That's the closing. That's it right there.
Clean. Yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, well, thanks for joining us. Thomas will be, if you saw our first video, Thomas will be doing our next topic. He'll be coming up with that, and we haven't heard it yet, so we're excited to see what that is. Yep. And throw topics our way, and we'll talk to you next time. All right, thanks, guys.
Sounds good.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.